Hello, is this thing on? Hello? What up, world? Julian here, and welcome back to Told by Thomas, where I tell you how I live my bachelor life here in New York City, Brooklyn, New York to be exact.
I'm from Brooklyn. I read Brooklyn all day. They killed Biggie.
What part of Brooklyn are you
I'm from Brownsville.
You're from Brownsville.
I'm from Brownsville.
You are very
all
Brooklyn.
day.
You are very
I'm
Brooklyn.
So fucking Brooklyn.
And on today's video, if you haven't been able to tell already, it is time for part 2 of my kitchen renovation. That's right, if you caught my last YouTube video, then you saw me switch around my kitchen where I painted, got a new kitchen island, added tons of storage, including a really dope open pantry, and I even installed a subway tile backsplash. Today, it is time for part 2 where I am going to declutter, clean, and organize my kitchen so I can get back in and start cooking. I'm going to be completely honest and say since lockdown happened back in March, I have been ordering takeout damn near every day, and my wallet and my stomach is paying for it. So I'm really excited to, get back in the kitchen, cook my own food, but in order to do that, I really need to add some form, function, and organization to the space. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. So let's get to it. Okay, so now that we installed all the big stuff in part 1, it's time to hit all of the nook and crannies, beginning with the cabinets. I'm going to be honest and say that I don't even remember buying half of this stuff, some of which I'm sure has expired by now. So I just emptied out everything from the cabinet so I can take a thorough inventory. And by everything, I mean everything, including this bundle of plastic bags that I'll probably never use, but felt guilty throwing away. I'm really trying to cut back on the single-use plastic, so stay tuned for a video about that. Now that my cabinets were empty, I got to scrubbing. I'm going to be honest and say that the cabinets weren't too dirty, mostly just spilled spices, so a disinfecting wipe was good enough for this job. Once the cabinets were so fresh and so clean, it was time for the big fight. And by the big fight, I mean cleaning out my nasty ass bachelor fridge. I had to strap up and pray up for this one. Prepare yourselves. I'm a little embarrassed to say that I never cleaned my fridge when I first moved in. Don't judge me. I was 27, okay? The male brain doesn't fully mature until 28. And since quarantine, I've been eating like a true bachelor. # seamless everything. For the little stuff that I do have in my fridge, I figured it was best for me and for public safety to toss it out. I then removed the shelves and doused the fridge with an all-purpose cleaner. I also made my own little cleaning concoction and applied that with a sponge using super hot water to the surface just to give the fridge the deep clean it most certainly deserves. I took a disinfectant wipe just to make sure I got rid of all the germs and dried the surface. I put the shelves and crisper drawers back after I let them soak in super hot soapy water in my sink, and I was sure to scrub them dry. Also, I added an appliance light because for the past 2 years of me living in this apartment, my fridge didn't have one. Who are you to judge me? The next morning, it was time for me to move on to the freezer. If you thought the fridge was bad, wait until you see this shit. I didn't even realize the shelf thing unscrews, and I'm so glad I did the extra work to find out. Even though food will never touch the surface, it was so satisfying knowing that I cleaned the space. And it's pretty satisfying to watch, in my opinion. You guys, look at this. I'm gonna be honest and say that I love watching cleaning videos on YouTube. It low-key soothes my anxiety watching dirty things become clean again, and I'm so glad I got to make my own cleaning video this time. I hope you enjoy. Once the interior of the fridge and freezer was clean, I went ham on scrubbing its exterior. I used a combination of the spray-on all-purpose cleaner with Comet, which, if you're not familiar, it's like an abrasive powder to help release stuck-on dirt. Adding water to this mixture creates a paste-like substance, which really helps to get the years of dirt off. After I dubbed the fridge spotless, it was time to move on to my 5-star stove. I cleaned the surface of the stove pretty frequently, so it wasn't too dirty. I created the paste mixture that I used on the exterior of the fridge again for this job, and it also removed the stuck-on grime from the stove. I should have known better, but always make sure you start from top to bottom when cleaning. As you can see here, I didn't do that, and as I cleaned the stove vent, all the dirt dripped down onto my newly cleaned stove. But little did I know that said stove wasn't entirely clean. Okay, for those of you that don't live in a big city, or hell, in the boom booms out in the country, I'm sure you guys might be able to relate to this too, then you might not realize that stoves are a great place for critters to hide. And I almost threw up in my mask once I realized that I could open the bottom half of my stove and found what I saw. A family of something once called my stove home. I personally have never seen any, dare I say, evidence of these four-legged squatters since I've been living here, as my property management does a great job maintaining the space. But this loft was converted into apartments in around 1991, so I can only imagine what was living here before I was. Welcome to New York City, baby. After I grew some balls, I cleaned out this portion of the stove and then moved on to the oven and knobs until sis was also spotless. Now that all the big cleaning jobs were out of the way, it was time to declutter and organize. After I decided what kitchen tools I was going to keep out of the ones I already had, I gave everything a wash just so I can start with everything being clean in my new kitchen. Random Tupperware, plates, and kitchen supplies I just neatly stacked and stored in the main cabinet. I'm sure I'll use this stuff again, so I don't want to throw it out just yet. Pots, pans, and cutting boards are going under the kitchen island for easy access. I even added a Ninja Bullet to my juicing station so I can make smoothies and margaritas. Duh. I went on a Target run where I got some new kitchen tools, including a full set of new glass and plastic storage containers. If food waste is a problem for you like it is for me, then these are going to come in handy. Trust me. Remember, always wash any new dish or container that you just bought from the store if your food will touch it. Next, I went through all of my spices that you guys saw me pull out earlier. I threw away the ones that were expired. I condensed down bottles and jars where I could, and I even disinfected all of the containers. I wanted to keep my cooking essentials out in the open, so I bought some new snazzy storage pieces to keep everything organized. I then swapped out old and dingy kitchen tools for some new ones that I also bought from Target. You guys don't understand how satisfying it was to finally organize my eating utensils. It was a hot mess before, trust. Also, now that I'm an adult, I figured there are certain kitchen tools every bona fide bachelor and/or bachelorette should have in their arsenal. A food scale for accurate portions, a food thermometer so you don't die from undercooked meat, kitchen sears, tape and markers for accurate labeling, and of course, twine. After all of my kitchen supplies were neatly placed back to where they belong, your boy did what any self-respecting, financially and physically abled adult should do, and that was go grocery shopping. My next video is going to be all about cooking at home, you guys, because your boy has been spending buku bread on Uber Eats since lockdown, and now I have a clean and organized kitchen to really throw down in. I'm going to show you guys how I plan out all my meals and how I go grocery shopping, because best believe as a Virgo moon, I have a strategy when it comes to that. I'll also show you guys how I prep all my food, from cleaning my fruits and veggies to food storage, and I'll even share some of my favorite Pinterest recipes. So subscribe so you can stay tuned for that. After my fridge was fully stocked, I tidied up my kitchen a bit more, cleaned my trash can, swept and mopped the floor. Damn, I'm husband material. And just like that, I have a new, clean kitchen. All right, you guys, there you have it, my full kitchen renovation. I'm gonna be honest and say I started on this about a month and a half ago. So it was a pretty long process. So I'm very, very excited that it is finally done. I'm excited that I can, stop ordering a lot of takeout and wasting my money and getting a gut and actually start, eating well and cooking my own food in my brand new kitchen. I have to say that my favorite part of the kitchen has to be the stainless steel island. Before, I had this big, clunky IKEA island, and it, did the job, but it was too big. And this island is a lot more smaller and compact. I still have a sight line to my living room so I can see TV while I cook. It's just everything is within arm's reach, with the really deep windowsill. I can put all my kitchen utensils and, different cooking stuff like oil and vinegar and spatulas and paper towel. Everything is literally right there. This kitchen is super efficient. That's all I really wanted. It was all about form and function. I really didn't care about the design, but I still think it looks pretty damn good if I do say so myself. But I just really wanted something that was functional, and I believe that I have that. So thank you guys so much for watching. My apologies. I know I took a little bit longer than expected to post part 2 to this video, but I think it was well worth the wait. As always, feel free to follow me on Instagram at @toldbythomas. If you see anything that you like, feel free to reach out. I am pretty open. Just make sure you come at me correct. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below. If you haven't already, please subscribe and tell your mama, your uncle, and your friends about me. And last but not least, be nice to each other. All right, you guys, I'll catch you in next week's video. Hey.